on this wonderful gathering day within the uh, month of love, February. And it's a theme that kind of continues throughout the month, and certainly in respect of reconnecting us with what we love. And stimulating our reconnection to our purpose from the space of the heart. Now, those of you who've been with me for a while will know that everything that we do with the diamond, within the diamond, and connected to the diamond consciousness is all about heart. Bon, yes, thank you for that question. If people want to learn about the diamond and get a fundamental understanding of it, the best that I can suggest is the package that is on special offer this month. It is the Diamond Template Activations and the Diamond Alchemy Program, and it gives you a heap of not only information and understanding and context, because to me the context is always so important. It's not saying just trust me, and trust what I say. There's a context and a lot of background to it. So those programs are on special this month. Will give you a really, really good foundation and insight into the diamond. So thank you for mentioning that. Thank you, Mary. Mary just says they're excellent program. Glad you enjoyed it. It really pulled together a lot of the stuff that I've learned over 15 years, 15 going on 16 years. Okay, so the sacred numbers of love. What is it that attracted you all to that particular title, to this particular essence? If there was anything in particular that resonated with you, especially those of you that are new, what kind of drew you into that for this particular session? Any inputs, any comments, any insights, even for those of you that have been with me for a while? Excuse me, I just had a drink of tea. Oh, thank you, Robin. No, that's lovely. Yeah, your excitement. And that's really interesting. Love is the foundation of happiness. Yes, it is. And just love numerology. Oh, well, you're going to love this one, Natalie. Love is also power. Love is the true power. Love is the power that we are moving into. So when we can sort of begin to understand that there is a sacred numerological system that can actually connect us with that, and then that there are ways of linking in and working with that, to me, it just becomes really exciting. And one of my archetypal, as I mentioned in the first email that I sent out a week ago, almost a week ago. One of the things that I mentioned in there is that one of my archetypal essences is that of the alchemist, the futurist, and the inspirer. That's lovely. Elise says, I checked in if this was for the highest good to be part of and received a resounding yes. That's beautiful. Susan said, feels as though we are on the precipice of tantamount change based upon love being triumphant. Oh, those are beautiful, beautiful inputs. Thank you, everybody. Because that really consolidates. I love your insights. I love your connections and your intuitions, because that's exactly what I was feeling and getting so excited about in the last week. Because since the beginning of the year, there hasn't really been a huge amount to get overly excited about with the way that the energies have been. It's been quite drudgy for the most part, sort of a couple of gulps of air bringing us above water, and then being dunked under again to remove some more sludge. So this is really a pivotal day. It's a pivotal moment as we move through these next planetary alignments. So thank you for all of those insights. And yes, that's exactly it. I was really inspired when I came across this information. And there's a quote that I came across some time ago which says, there's nothing worse than an inspirer who is uninspired. And I kind of went, yeah, I can kind of relate to that. But always with these processes, I find that inspiration triggers almost at the 11th hour. It says, this is what is needed right now. And I kind of go, yeah, this is great. And it fuels, it adds fuel and impetus to the journey that we're on when it has seemed perhaps a little bit bland. So the sacred numbers of love is something that I was really excited about to discover, and which I'm going to pull together through this particular session. So thank you all for being here. That's a bit of a long-winded intro. Now, what I want to introduce you to first of all, because this is a song actually, I've just written the words out. I wish I could play you the song, but I'm going to suggest that you Google it because it is on YouTube. And then after we finish this session, that you perhaps go and listen to it because it is the most beautiful song. It's not just the words, it touches your heart and it awakens your heart in such a profound way, in a much deeper way. Denise Hagen is a self-professed indigo. She maintains that the lyrics for this song were channeled by Yeshua, by the Christ consciousness. And it's just so beautiful in respect of connecting us to Source. So I'd like to read it to you, but I want you to close your eyes and just listen to the lyrics and just feel it in your body. Feel the truth of what she writes and the truth of these words in your body. If you could see what I see, you'd lose your breath for sure. You are the perfect replications and the ones that I adore. I carved you from a diamond and polished you with love. Then I sent you out beyond the veil so you might choose the love. Oh, my sweet creations, your beauty makes me weep. Oh, my sweet creations, the whole world's at your feet, and one day soon you'll see it. If you could see what I see, you'd never lose your smile. For you walk in my own footsteps when you walk that second mile. These are more than words, my love. This is poetry divine. My signature is everywhere, for all of life is mine. One day you'll see what I see, and you'll come to realize that every tear you ever cried I wiped from my own eyes. I know your every feeling, and I've felt your every joy. But you and I are one, my child. Still illusion was the choice. If you could see. Now, aren't those words and lyrics just so moving and profound and beautiful that if we could truly see ourselves the way that our Creator, the way that the divine creative source sees us, we would never doubt who we are. We would never doubt our purpose. We would never doubt our reason for being alive and in embodiment on this planet. And this song became an introductory song that I actually play whenever I do live diamond events because it just really helps to set the tone. It's not only the essence of the words, it was also this: I carved you from a diamond and I polished you with love. And so that automatically links in the essence of love, heart, divine connection to our diamond self and our diamond essence in a very profound, beautiful way. So I just wanted to share that with you as an introduction as we go in, because we're really going to have a look at how all pervasive the signature is through numbers in fascinating ways. Okay, so it was Nikola Tesla. Now, most of you would be familiar, I'm sure, with Nikola Tesla, who said, if you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe. Now, most of you have heard me talk about some of the numbers of the diamond, and 3, 6, and 9 didn't really come into it very much. You know, we're talking about the 8s, we're talking about the 3s, and 144, and a couple of, and 111, primary diamond number. I've got that on subsequent slides, so don't get too panicky yet for those of you for whom this is the first time you're hearing it. But the 3, 6, and 9 didn't come into it. And just in the last week, it was so fascinating for me because I was given a book on the solfeggio frequencies. What's about sound healing and the solfeggio frequencies. And it's written by a guy with really deep understanding of the solfeggio tones and that they are tones and music that are derived from these fundamental universal numbers. So Nikola Tesla actually came out with this quote some time ago. It's like he understood that there was a deeper meaning in these numbers of 369. And the solfeggio tones as such, I'll just actually say to you quickly, they are known as the tones or the music of the creator, but it's more than that. They represent energy, frequency, and vibration in just the most beautiful ways. So if you think of those numbers, 369, can anybody see how you can get 8 from the 3, 6, and 9? Just a quick question to throw you off on this Sunday morning and see if your brains are working. Can anybody see how you might get 8 there? Because 8 is another number that we associate with the diamond. I like that. No comments. It's either too early or just too much to even consider. Right. Well, let me show you. Okay. Number 8 we know is the infinity symbol. And it's a really profound manifestation of divine energy because it represents many, many things. And of course, we know it's encoded into the diamond. So the root of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, most of us would be familiar with the number 3 being the Trinity, the original divine Trinity. It is the divine blueprint and the essence of creation. So, of course, right now we are in a 3-year. We are in a year that is asking us to realign ourselves more closely, more strongly, more deeply with that creative impulse of the divine, with that ultimate divine blueprint. Okay. Number 6 in this sequence is embodiment in form. That represents, and if you look at the way that the number 6 is written, it is written, it's the divine coming down from heaven into form. So this is the blueprint, the Trinity, the original triangle, the Trinity. 6 represents numbers coming, the energy and essence coming down into form. Therefore, it is the number of embodiment of the divine. Number 9, we know, has so many incredible qualities and properties. Number 9 represents the reascension to back to source once everything within form has been completed. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. I don't have graphics for it, but you can see this quite clearly. If you overlay 6 and 9, one on top of the other, so you have form and heaven, you actually get the infinity symbol created from these two numbers. So it is really significant because 8 is encoded in the 369. 8 is the number that actually is the bridge between the two, and 8 is the number that we work with the diamond. And 3 repeated or on its side, if you overlay 6 onto the 3, you create the infinity symbol, and if you overlay 9 onto the 3, you complete the infinity symbol. Now, I saw something being typed there in the chat room, so I just want to see if there's something coming through. So 3, 6, and 9 together create infinity, the octaves of completion. So it's almost as if 8 equals 9. which to me is just, it's kind of like mind blowing when you start looking at the numbers and the numerology, but they have very practical significance, especially the 6 in embodiment and in human form. So any comments there before I go any further? And these numbers and the infinity symbol and the number 8 are fully encoded into ratios and relationships in the cosmos. You'll see on the previous slide that I said all numbers arise from geometry, formed as a result of the interactions of the fundamental toroid fields. Math or numbers is the language of the divine. So the geometries are those shapes and forms that we can see that then become translated into 3D. They are part of our embodiment. What arises as a consequence of those are the maths or the numbers with which we can actually begin to understand the divine language. So 369 is actually encoded into diamond and diamond consciousness. So bear with me here. Are you guys all right? You with me so far? Don't want to lose you. Take a look at Take a look at how some of these numbers manifest in our physical reality. And there might be things that you've never thought of before. The most obvious ones are looking at minutes, hours, and days. Number of seconds in a minute, 60, which is 6. And these are the numbers by which we live our life because these refer to our experience in embodiment. 1 hour is 60 minutes, it's 6. 1 day is 24 hours, is 6. There are 9 planets in our solar system. So far, life is only on Earth, as we know, within this solar system. That's not talking about the rest of the universe, because life absolutely exists. But this is the third planet from the sun, the third rock from the sun. 3 is the number of time, past, present, and future. That's your trinity, which ultimately takes you into no time. We know about sort of almost the law of manifestation, which actually says if you want to manifest something, you repeat it 3 times, or repeating it 3 times honors the sacredness in whatever that request or statement or affirmation is. Under Muslim law, a man can divorce his wife by repeating the phrase, I divorce you 3 times. Would that it was so easy in the Western realms where we have man-made laws which have actually overtaken natural law. There are only 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, out of which every single other color and nuance of the spectrum is created. So 3 is the foundation of the what we experience as light in its limited form from our physical perspective. There are 12 months in a year. According to the Bible, man was created on the 6th day. Now, I found that really interesting because I hadn't made that connection before. Man was created on the 6th day. Everything else was prepared. The blueprint was there. Man was created on the 6th day. And there we see that 6 is about the embodiment of the divine. According to Hindu astronomy, there are 27 constellations. That's 9. Each one of them has 4 directions. 27 multiplied by 4 is 108, which brings you back to 9. In other words, the number 108 covers the whole galaxy. Now, I've also studied some of the work of Randall Carlson, who is a master mason who loves all of this numbers and his sacred geometry and what have you. And I can tell you that it's not just Hindu astronomy. It is encoded throughout our entire universe, these numbers 3, 6, and 9, very, very profoundly. The number 3 is also the symbolic representation of whose 3 curves represent the 3 states of consciousness of human beings and is represented by 3 sounds that we tone as a continuum, as the Om. So 3 sounds. So 3, 6, and 9, hugely significant, ultimately represent the divine encodings of the universe, of our known universe. Okay, so let's just get the next slide up. The yin and yang. We tend to think of yin and yang just being a representation, oh sorry, it's jumped ahead, of the polar opposites. Let me just get this out. So we tend to think of it as being a duality, as being 2. So this was really interesting for me because it is a different look at the yin and yang. The yin and yang is not a duality, but it's rather a trinary. This is because 3 and 6 represent each side of the yin yang, and 9 is the S curve between them. There are other references which actually state that 9 is the sphere or the circle that actually encloses them. So 9 is completion, 9 is ultimately the journey back to the divine. But the S curve that runs between them is the 9. Everything is based on thirds. We think that the universe is based on dualities because we see the effect and not the cause. So when we talk about transcending duality, we talk about embracing the duality and understanding the law of thirds. And it's not moving beyond duality. It is embracing the duality in order to complete the process to make manifest this divine blueprint in physical form and transcend back to source. So it's the ultimate cause, which is a vital part of. And that's where I've also had an issue with the way that some of the so-called New Age teachings are presented. It's like leaving duality behind and moving into oneness. Well, you can't, because we are in physical embodiment. So we are always going to be here as long as we are in physical form. Our job is to bridge those dualities and ensure this connection so that we can, excuse me, complete the process. We only transcend back to source when everything is completed here. For as long as we are in embodiment, we are dealing with the duality and the law of the thirds. And this is another pictorial representation of how the yin and yang arises as a consequence of the interacting toroidal fields. And here you have, so that's a geometry shape form that comes about as a consequence of the toroid. And there's two here. You have this particular one on top and this particular one below, bridging and creating a union, the S curve. Well, here's the S curve that actually links them, that links both of the toruses. And that also is a representation to counter-rotating spirals, ultimately projects the diamond in the space beyond the duality. So this is also a fundamental number associated with the diamond. Have I lost you yet? Mhm. It's just another look and another representation of how things are. Now, here are a few things that I found particularly significant. We hear a lot. Thank you, Nikki says, fascinating. I thought so too. I love learning and I love connecting dots, and I'm going, oh, wow, So, one of the things that we hear, and I hear people repeating this phrase, I have done for 2 decades now, that we are somehow moving from carbon to crystalline. And I'm going, no, we're not. We're not. So what's going to happen if you don't have carbon? And then I want to challenge people, close your eyes. Just close your eyes for a minute. Take away the trees. Take away the animals. Take away the human beings. What have you got? What are you left with? If you do not have carbon, you do not have life on this planet. You do not have these living interactions. So here's something else about carbon. Carbon holds the creator's signature of 369. Carbon actually has an atomic number of 12. You reduce that, 2 and 1 is 3. It has 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons. Now, bearing in mind that carbon is what we are built from, it is what gives us living essence. And the number of carbon is 666. Okay, 666. Add those up and you get 18, which is 9. So this is the challenge to complete the blueprint of the creator in our physical form with carbon and through carbon. And then, of course, you guys know that carbon is capable of manifesting in multiple forms as soft, malleable graphite that can be molded, squashed, squished, all the rest of it as solid diamond. And then what is being found is that carbon can do something really unusual that no other elements can do. It can create buckyballs, as they are known, which is specific dodecahedral shapes or dodecahedral forms comprised of 60 molecules or 60 atoms of carbon in specific configuration. Absolutely unique. And it was thought ultimately that buckyballs didn't exist in nature until they were found in a material called shungite, which actually contains, they're also known as fullerenes. For anybody who wants to perhaps Google or look at that, they're known as fullerenes, and fullerenes actually have very, very interesting qualities and properties in that they can absorb toxins from the environment and they support the releasing and the clearing of the environment. So what shungite does, because of the fullerenes within the material, so it's a carbon-based product, is they help to neutralize the detrimental effect of electromagnetic fields and toxins in your environment, which is why it's one of the energy tools that I've just added to the toolkit in the Diamond Light World shop, because that's what shungite does. So just back to carbon, so you can see we have the 3, we have the 6 electrons, we also have 6 protons and 6 neutrons. So we have 369, the creator's signature encoded within carbon. We are not going anywhere from carbon. We are transforming everything within it. Elise says one of my tasks here is to integrate the seemingly unintegratable. Yes, bridge to lift the veil of illusion that it's either or, it's actually both, which brings in the third piece. Thank you so much, Elise. That's exactly it. It's the bridge. And the diamond is the bridge. And it integrates all of these understandings. And this is just to me, I kind of went, oh, there we go. There it is again. I've always said carbon to crystalline doesn't resonate with me. Never has from the beginning. And people just repeat. No, carbon's not going anywhere. It's part of our delicately balanced ecosystem and our opportunity to experience this amazing, magnificent sensory physicality of life itself. So truly beautiful. It's through that medium. So the other thing that we find when it comes to these numbers is oxygen, the breath of the divine. And I hadn't made this link before, and I know I've said to you. So oxygen has a number 8. Okay, so it has 8 electrons, 8 protons, and I think 8 neutrons. Yeah. So 3 8s are 24. That adds up to 6. But the number of oxygen is 8. And 8 is a number that's obviously, we go back to the infinity symbol, and now I start seeing, perhaps in a deeper way, why I was told and shown right in the beginning with the diamond, when I was wondering what on earth this was all about, that I had to work with the infinity symbol within this infrastructure, within this shape. Because 8 being oxygen is the breath of life. Ultimately, we don't have oxygen, we don't live. It's the breath of the divine, which we actually take into our body. So there we have the infinite breath. It is also, as many of you will have heard me say before, if you could crystallize oxygen, its natural configuration, because of its specific numerology, is that it would crystallize as an octahedron. It would crystallize as a diamond. So there's that signature. You know, so there it is again. It's in the very oxygen, and here we see it through the numerology. And oxygen binds with iron, and the number of iron is 26. So what do we have? 26. We have 8. So within our body, we've got this infinity loop, this wonderful infinite connection between iron and oxygen. And guess what shape iron is? As a crystal. It's octahedral. We come back to the diamond signature. So from a numerological perspective, we see that encoding in the very elements upon which our life depends and our physical essence depends. Okay, so that just really brings it back into a little bit more context. Now, the Solfeggio frequencies are really quite fascinating, because these were rediscovered, and I know that a lot of people now talk about them. I think Jonathan Goldman works with Solfeggio frequencies with his sound healing. Really, really significant and important for sound healing. So that's another thing that I would suggest you perhaps do, because each of the Solfeggio frequencies resonate with the 3, 6, and 9 in some way, shape, or form. It is an ancient, a very ancient sequence of frequencies that were originally encoded into and used for as musical tones for sacred music. So in sort of days long ago, ancient days, they would have sung hymns in these frequency bands using these particular frequency tones. And what has happened with modern music, for instance, is that modern music has been shifted out of these frequency bands into something that is tuned outside of these. So there is very little that is sacred about modern music. Most classical music tends to be created along the 369, especially the older types before the modern instruments were changed in respect of their frequency tuning. So a lot of the ancient classical music or the older pieces would still resonate with the 369 frequency scale. So it's the music, if you like, the music of the heavens, the music of the divine. There are 6 key solfeggio frequencies that are really, really significant. Um, the first one is 396. There's one that you've probably all heard of. 396, and this particular frequency apparently dissolves feelings of fear, guilt, and shame. It elicits peace and well-being and connection. It is like opening the door to the divine. 417 adds up to 3. And if you're wondering about the numerology, where I say in brackets it resonates with this, you just add up these digits and then compound them to a single number. So 9 and 6 is 15, 3 is 18, 8 and 1 is 9. 7, 8 and 4 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3. So that's where these numbers come from. So 417 hertz is another solfeggio frequency. It breaks negative cycles and encourages digestion. 528 hertz, which is probably what a lot of you will have heard of, it's known as the miracle frequency. It restores broken DNA and fuels transformation. 639 hertz is about connecting with forgiveness, help in healing relationships and the endocrine system. And this 528 hertz is really interesting because that has been recognized by the medical profession. There are a number of these frequencies in tuning forks that are actually used medically. As well. And the 528 hertz not only restores broken DNA, it apparently supports restoration and healing of the physical body and healing of broken bones. 741 hertz, number 3, enhances meditation, soothes emotions, and cleansing. And then this 852, celebration of our divine connection. Oh, Nancy, that's lovely. I listen to 528 solfeggio every day for good health. Schumann versus solfeggio. I recognize the very significant 528 hertz of Schumann, including healing experiments. Okay, 528 hertz is not a Schumann frequency. So what I would direct you to in order to understand the Schumann frequencies, the natural resonances, is I do have a YouTube video on my website, Elise. So please have a look at that. 7.8 is the tuning frequency. It's close to 8 hertz. So 7.8, which is close to 8. And that's the one that tends to support our alignments with the frequency of the planet. But there's a range of Schumann frequencies. I haven't looked at the range relative to the solfeggios, and that is a really interesting question stroke comment, and I will certainly go and have a look at that because I'm sure there's going to be a connection somewhere in there. Okay, so the solfeggio frequencies, the music of the heavens, the healing music that I found, which indicated a very deep intellectual and practical and spiritual what's the word, resonances, if you like, with the solfeggio frequencies is a guy called Michael Tyrrell, Tyrrell, Michael Tyrrell. And he wrote a book called The Sound of Healing. And it was this book that actually triggered all of my thinking as I was reading his book. And I went, oh, wow, this is really quite amazing. And it led me on to other things and other connections, and the dots were just being formed. So his work and his understanding of how he has tuned his instruments to the solfeggios through a tuning hertz of 444 was really quite fascinating because it's also different to what a lot of other understandings are. It shows a deeper connection to the spiritual essence of this music. So I would suggest that you actually look him up. whole tones. And part of what I'm going to do is start doing some hands-on healing with the solfeggio, tuned solfeggio forks, frequency forks. Because I think that, and color, there's a strong color component. And of course, my foundation was color therapy many years ago. So I'm really intrigued to now bridge the solfeggio frequencies with their respective colors with the diamond and with the diamond energy work. So really beautiful correlations and understandings of these specific tones and frequencies, and they're currently being restored to us. But it's also a word of discernment, a note of discernment. Be cautious about what you listen to, because most of modern music is jarring or disharmonious to our being because of these missing frequencies and the mistuning. Very interesting. According to Dr. Len Horowitz, and I first came across him many years ago, so I've just been diving a little bit into his work again. Dr. Len Horowitz, 3, 6, 9, and 8 opens the portals to the multi-dimensional realms to the creator's domain. And I just love that description because, to me, it just kind of encompasses it. And there's a lot more about the structure and formation of DNA as a consequence of these particular numbers as well. I'm going to spare you all of that mental input this morning. The diamond numbers, let's just have a brief look at some of the diamond numbers that correlate and help us to bridge and understand the links to these frequencies. The inherent diamond number, as accepted as a consequence of its internal vectors, is 111. It's your primary triple number, known in formal linear mathematical circles as 111, because each of its internal vectors is exactly the same length. It is the only geometry that actually provides this particular internal vector configuration. So they're all exactly the same length. 111 of equal length. 111 gives you 3 triple numbers. So there we have the configuration of the diamond. It has triangular facets. So each triangle represents 3. It's the divine blueprint, creative blueprint. And there are 8 facets in an octahedron. So 3 by 8 gives you 24, which brings us to 6. Okay, so here we have that encoded in the structure of the octahedron. The sum of all the angles of the facets, I've written that the wrong way round, I must have been tired, all angles of the facets is 1440, which is 9. So we've got 3, 6, 9 encoded within the sacred octahedron. So you perhaps get another perspective on why I refer to and why I am so passionate about the diamond and about what I call the sacred octahedron, because that is what it is. Through that geometry and through its form, it supports our realignment and reconnection with the divine. So I was really excited, with some of this 369 stuff, because I'd come across it vaguely, but never seen all of the dots connected. So this 1440 was really quite fascinating for me, and I went and had a look at some of the biblical quotes that contain that number, and it's quite revealing. So bear in mind that these are written in biblical language, and that what is important is not the number of noughts behind it. So you can have 3 noughts, 6 noughts, 1 nought, whatever it is. It's the root number. 144 brings you back to 9, brings you back to the divine. And 1440 is the number is one of the numbers of the diamond, which is sacred. So here we have from Revelations 7:4, and I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. Now, that's been usurped by the so-called modern spiritual New Age community as meaning that there will be 144,000 masters on the planet, enlightened beings, and they are the ones who will uplift everybody. It's not about the 144,000 that's in this root number. So it's about the 9. It is about that connection to the divine. It is about those who are sealed with that number. And there are many, many other references to the 144 and the diamond that I could give you, and it's through the book, the Sefer Yetzirah, which is another ancient text, but there's just too much to go into here. But here we have, so bear in mind that it's about the root number, not the number of people on the planet. So it's a symbolic encodement. So the second quote, then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb, standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. It's really just a reference again to those who have realized the fullness of their divinity within the physical form and have transcended and are able to take that back to source. And they were singing a new song before the throne of, and before the four living creatures and before the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth. This has got nothing to do with the number of people ascending from the planet at all. Redeemed from the earth is actually redeemed from the six, which is the founding carbon number of embodiment, redeemed from that embodiment through the sacred. And this is very interesting before the four living creatures. This is all symbolic. Four living creatures. If you take the sacred octahedron, the diamond, what have you got in the very middle? You've got two pyramids making up this sacred form, this octahedron. And at the base of each pyramid is a square, four-sided, four living creatures. And that's the four. There's a more complex explanation for this, which is also a little bit more long-winded. Elizabeth H. spoke about it a lot in her book. Elizabeth H. I can't remember the name of her book now. But this is symbolic of the zodiac and connections with the zodiac. And the four living creatures represent the four cardinal signs that form the foundation of the 12 signs of the zodiac. So here again, you've got the 4 times by 3. The 4, each side of the 4 actually supports a triangular facet or 4 triangular facets of the diamond. So you've got 4 by 3 gives you 12. If you unpack the diamond or you unpack a pyramid, you actually make a 12-pointed star. 2 and 1 is 3. We come back to the sacred number, the solfeggio. So I hope that makes a bit of sense, because I couldn't actually do the diagrams here, and there's a huge amount that's symbolically encoded in just that one verse. But it's the 144, the 144,000. This is another one. Interesting, the New Jerusalem. He also measured its wall, 144 cubits by human measurement, which is also an angel's measurement. This is human brought back up to the status of angelic. So made divine. So the New Jerusalem is not a city. The New Jerusalem is a state of being. And it is a state of being. It is a holy temple that we develop within ourselves based on the grand creative design. And that's based on the connections with the sacred octahedron. Lots more on that too, which you can start exploring if that tickles you. So does that make a little bit of sense? And when we start reading some of this stuff symbolically rather than literally, it becomes quite mind-blowing. I mean, this understanding of the New Jerusalem and the Holy Temple, going back to the Sefer Yetzirah, and understanding the retranslation of what had been mistranslated in that ancient book, was really fascinating, because it brings it all into perspective for us. So yeah, so you can see why I was excited. Can you see why I was getting so inspired? So I hope I haven't just really fried your brains this morning. You kind of get the theme. But this is why I think the solfeggio frequencies, in conjunction with our visual connection with our sacred octahedron, are so significant and will really support us moving forward in this year. So, triple numbers. You know, there's so much written about triple numbers and the triple numbers and being angelic frequencies and having specific meanings and. So, guess what? You take the triple numbers and you have, oh, sorry, there's a typo. I've got 4 nines instead of 3. Ignore that one. It would still give you 9 anyway. But all of the triple numbers add up to 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. So first one, as I've mentioned, gives you 3, and that's diamond. 111 is the number of the diamond. And 3 being the ultimate creative blueprint, which is diamond. A lot of people say to me, GC, all I hear is diamond, 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 diamond. I'm going, if you could only understand, if you could see what I see, if you could actually understand what it is, you know, that I've discovered and the dots and the connections, it is, you know, and it's the beauty of it. 222 is 6, and 222 is really interesting. I'll give that to you in a moment. 333 is 9, and so on. This again comes from Michael Tyrrell, and I was really quite fascinated with this quote because he says 222 in biblical terms, and this guy's a minister. Michael S. Tyrrell is a minister, so he makes a lot of references to certain biblical terms in his linking back of the solfeggios to being the music of the divine or the creator. But anyway, in biblical terms, it means God's sufficiency in light of man's insufficiency. And I went, oh my goodness, that makes so much sense. It's just always remember 222 is 6. It's the number of man, it's the number of the divine in embodiment, in the darkness of embodiment that very often we can forget the extent of our sufficiency because we are viewing life through this limited human lens. 222 reminds us that we contain within us this amazing blueprint within and through, and we are this amazing manifestation of the divine, and to always remember and reconnect with the sufficiency of source. I mean, some people are allergic to the word God. I don't really mind it. I used to have triggers around it, but I don't really anymore. But that connection to source um, renders our sufficiency in light of what we perceive as insufficiency in the physical realm. So I just really love that because the 222 has had very strong significance for me over the years, and that's just shed new light on it. It's going, remember what this means, remember what this means. So there you have, again, this manifestation of the sacred code. Here we have, I just love this quote, and I just thought, after all the head stuff, it's just nice to slow down for a minute and just close your eyes, fall in love, and stay there. Isn't that just a beautiful quote by Rumi? Fall in love with you, fall in love with yourself, which is what this month is all about. Falling in love with you. And just by the way, today's date, as I said to you, there was even significance in the fact that today's date was the one that was going to be used. We are in a gap day today. It's the last of a sequence of 10 gap days. The date, though, is the 17th of February. So it's 17/2, so that's in English terms, 17/2, 2019. If you break those down into their simple numbers, 7 and 1 is 8, and then 2, and then 3. So we have the 2 of polarity and duality being February. But on either side, we have the reminders of the divine blueprint, of that reconnection to the divine and that flow of love, source love through the 8 and through the 3. So where it's felt perhaps as if we've been stuck, we actually hold that duality with the third force of source on either side of it, infusing it all with love. So I just thought I'd mention that. Okay. So here's something else that was really, really interesting, and I hope you guys will find this fascinating too, because it gives you as well a couple of little, I'm going to give you a couple of little practical exercises that will support you in maintaining the alignment in different ways, because we used to always creating the diamond. We're going to do it in a slightly different way. Um, the ancient languages, as in ancient Hebrew, um, and I'm sure the ancient Chinese, they're encoded with the gematria of 369, and they read from right to left. What they do, therefore, is they stimulate the right brain first by reading from right to left, which is the natural flow of the divine. We know that our brain is structured in two hemispheres. The left brain is our logical linear hemisphere, which is what we have been entrained to over centuries through this distortion of the music, through the distortion of language, and so on and so forth. What we need to do is to restore a flow by opening up and accessing and reinstating the flow from right to left, not from just sit for a moment. I want you to sit for a moment and just close your eyes. Okay. And just take note of the way that the energy naturally wants to move across the two hemispheres of your brain. And where do you go first? If you had to trace the figure 8 through your brain, where would you go first? Now, I don't know about you, but I know that I was configured strongly left-brained. It was only later in life that the right brain opened up. And the natural tendency for me is to automatically go left first. Of course, we read left to right, so we've been entrained to that side of the brain. So what happened with the rest of you? What did you find if you were tracing? Did you go left or right? Patricia went right. Yeah, Robin went left. Nat went left. Right, right. So how fascinating is it? So we've got a real variation here. So one of the things that I've always said as well is that both hemispheres of our brain, and that's interesting, thank you. Both hemispheres of our brain are really important. So what we need to do is we need to build this bridge in the center of the brain, which is known as the corpus callosum. It's bundles of fibers which actually provide the interchange of energy across both sides of the brain. So it's the right hemisphere, which is our creative, our feminine, our emotional, our conceptual, abstract. It's about imagery, it's about colors, it's about um, the primary way in which we communicate with the divine source. So it should start at the right and move to the left. So we don't open this and stay here. We start here and we move it to the left. And we keep on flowing the energy from the right, but we need to start at the right. Always go right first. Go right, go right, go right. So Lise says, right. She says, would have gone left 10 years ago, had to build that bridge. Yes, absolutely. And I'm with you on that score, Elise, because I was also schooled, and I immediately, and I still go left, even though the right brain is actually opened, that I can connect more. My automatic tendency is to still go left. So I've actually got some work to do in respect of restoring this flow. But we need both because the left brain gives us our critical thinking, discernment abilities. Okay, so it's kind of like here you might get a sense that something's not quite right here in the right hemisphere. You get a little nudge and the signal goes down to your heart or into your body, and it triggers an emotion or a sense or a feeling within your body. Something's not quite right. What is it? And then it's often through the left brain and our power to discern and our critical thinking that whatever it is reveals itself and becomes known and manifests. So we need to work with both. But yes, we need to go right and then left, right and then left. So it's a very, very interesting concept. So the ancient languages, our modern language, English, has been coded in reverse, and we read from left to right. So the encodement is there, but it's been distorted. It's like we've been given this mirror image. It's been designed to take us out of alignment. And if we know this, then we can work with it more effectively to support our brains, to support our energy fields, and to re-support our building and restoration of that alignment. So just by the way, this corpus callosum as well, that is the center of the brain through which the core column of the diamond extends as we actually build the diamond around and through our being. So here's a couple of exercises. So the infinity symbol. You can actually trace the infinity symbol for brain rebalancing and connection starting in the right, from right to left, right to left. Place the emphasis right to left. If you wanted to work with the sphere, you could actually do that and draw a circle in your brain, but do it from right to left to link the hemisphere. So whichever way you want to do it, now you understand why. The infinity symbol from head to heart. Start at the right eye, take it to the top of the head, down through the left eye, cross at the throat, down to the heart, back up to the throat, back up to the right eye, and then to the top of the head. Excuse me. So we have then a vertical infinity symbol. So you can turn this the other way around. And that bridges the head, both hemispheres of the brain, with the heart. So that's two physical exercises that you can do. And this is an interesting one. And I haven't tried this yet, I must confess, because I've only just come across it and I thought, what a brilliant idea. Practice reading from right to left. Hold an English or your own language passage up in front of a mirror, a magazine or a book, it can be whatever you want, and read it backwards. Read the backwards text for 3, 6, or 9 minutes per day using those magical numbers, 3, 6, or 9, and you will start exercising and retuning your brain to the natural divine flow. Now, this is also in this year, which is a 3-year. If we think that 3 is about recreating, it's about the divine blueprint, it's about the fundamentals of creation. So, there's a lot said about this year being a year of creation. Our challenge this year, in this 3-year, is to rebuild and recreate ourselves on the basis of that divine blueprint. It means coming into closer alignment with our purpose, redefining who we are, elevating ourselves out of that the density of the 6, ensuring that the 369 cycle is actually held, repeated, restored within our being so that we can recreate ourselves on the basis of the divine original intention. So it's a very, very powerful year. It's also over the next couple of weeks with the supermoon on Tuesday and with these planetary conjunctions tomorrow signifying rapid and sudden change, unexpected change. So you may be faced with things that you just do not expect. Rapid and sudden change, that it's important for us to be able to flow with and through those changes coming up over the next couple of weeks. So again, the infinity symbol and these flow patterns are hugely significant for supporting our ability to do that. Does that make sense, guys? So the timing of this and the timing of this realization is just, it's really significant and supportive of our journey from here on. Okay. There's a lot more. There's a lot more that goes into this, but like I said, I didn't want to fry your brains too much. So I hope your brains aren't fried. Elise says, love this, right to left, keeping using both. Yes, feminine creates. Yes, and we bring it into being. Masculine left brings it into being, creates the structures to bring it into form all the time. Yes, right to left. And start noticing your body. If your body's out of alignment as well, sort of be aware of the right left balance in the physical structure of your body. And what do you need to do to perhaps exercise or restore that physical alignment within your body? So this to me was really fascinating, and as I say, it goes much deeper, but it does provide such a beautiful additional insight into the work we do with the diamond and why the diamond is so significant. Adaptive, yep, absolutely. Hi, Paula. Okay, so we're just going to do a short process, and the code that just spoke to me big time was Song of the Soul. Number one, because we're talking about the sacred frequencies, we're talking about the sounds of the divine, the music. And number two, because it is about realigning and listening to the song of our own heart. It is also then a reconnection to the truth of our own purpose and reason for being. So it really is allowing the song of the soul, and I love that it's gold. It's that golden diamond. So I just love this light code. So we're going to do a little bit of work with that, and as I said, the process today is actually going to be quite short because you've got 3 different processes. We're going to use those now. And I'm going to guide you through it because I want you to be aware of it in your body that you can take away and practice and work with in respect of restoring. So sometimes our diamond gatherings are more insightful and informational, um, but no less significant and important. Does anybody have any questions or comments then before we go into just this short exercise, this short process? I'm going to have a quick sip of tea while you type in the chat room. I love the 369 equals 8. You can boggle people's minds with that one. No, no more comments? You guys happy to try this out? Yep. Okay. Elise, I have a soul song. Everyone has a unique one. Mine is one note and I can align with it easily. That's beautiful. Wonderful, Elise. That's fantastic because for many, they don't have that fine-tuned ability to connect with their soul song. So we want to make that connection and then let it broadcast out. So we can do a little bit of work with the diamond, but it's a relatively simple process. Doesn't mean it's not effective, it just means that it's a relatively simple process today. Okay, everyone, make yourself comfortable. And close your eyes. I'm going to leave the light code on the screen if you want to just gaze at it for a little bit longer and take in the shape, the form, the energy, the essence of it, the joy, the love, beauty. And just begin by taking a long, slow, deep breath in. And this time you breathe with consciousness, understanding that connection to the divine through your breath, through the oxygen and the numbers. So you breathe in 8 and you breathe it into your body. And that 8 connects through your blood, through the very shape and form and composition of the molecules of your blood, to the iron instituting a chemical reaction which animates your entire body with 8 and 8. Diamonds and diamonds. If it's easier for you to imagine breathing in sparkling diamonds of light, then do that. Breathe those in and watch them fuse with the iron in your blood cells, creating or igniting minute sparks that are carried throughout your entire being. You are a child of the divine, created from a blueprint direct from source. Just breathe for a few moments, watching the flow of the elements on your breath. And as you are doing this, almost imperceptibly and without effort, your greater diamond field begins to spring into shape and form around you, anchored at the base of your spine, extending up to your soul star and down to your earth star, shimmering, coming alive with all these multitude, millions upon millions of sparks of divine light being transported and moving within you, fueling everything else within your body. Allow those ignitions of light to move and flow and accumulate in areas in your body where there may be congealed energy, pain or stress, and let them build up, almost fizzing like tiny little bubbles, like sonic influences beating away at whatever is congealed, breaking it up into smaller pieces, opening up that space within your being for the light, filling your body. So take your attention up to your brain, into the space behind your eyes. As you breathe in a spark of light, and you begin to flow that spark of light in that amazing figure eight configuration in its simple form across the hemispheres of your brain. And as it begins moving, it automatically begins to attract more particles of light that follow it on that path, strengthening its presence, strengthening the form and the flow, deepening the impact of that from the surface of the brain down into the center of the brain. And in the center of your brain, the center of that figure eight flow, is your third eye. Just sit for a moment, rotating and flowing that energy from right to left, right to left, placing the emphasis on whichever hemisphere requires to be brought into balance until you find that the flow is even across both hemispheres. So just spend a few moments doing that until you have a balanced, easy flow. And the bombardment of light particles at the center around your pineal gland stimulates the opening of this internal receptor of light. It triggers the rods and cones that exist physically within this structure. And then you note that the light is passing directly into and through the pineal gland. Into your third eye, enlightening it. Eliciting possibly internal visual images, internal connections, beginning to restore your conduit with the divine, with your divine essence and source. The light itself bombards and dissipates any calcification, any hardening that has taken place around the pineal to soften the entire structure, transforming. And the spiral now deepens, and you see that it's a beautiful golden color, that those sparks of light are flowing together in a golden wave. And it drops down into your throat, through your face, continuing to spiral from left to right, flowing through each energy center of the body. Now spirals its way down. It's almost like gravity is drawing it down. There is no stopping it. It's going to travel down your entire body, balancing each of the known energy centers along your spine, ultimately filling your spinal column and cord with millions of particles of light. Remember, remember, spiral those figure eights down, all the way down. And when you get beyond your throat to your shoulders, you might want to make those loops a little bit bigger as you spiral around to encompass the bones in your arms and your body. Spending a little bit of time in areas where rebalancing may need to take place. Spiraling down, spiraling down. feeding through your digestive system, so that all information that is received from divine sources is digested and integrated through the deepest parts of your being. And when you get down to the root chakra, you extend that spiral outwards so that it touches the boundaries of your personal diamond, left and right. And then it turns around to also connect front and back with these infinite loops, balancing past and present, left and right. And then further down your body, down through your legs, and the heavy bones in which your blood cells are actually manufactured. They're little factories in your thigh bones. Spend a bit of time giving them a boost, being grateful for the sustenance and support of life. Like, wow, all the blood cells in your body are produced here in these bones. And down through your knees, allowing the light to illuminate areas of stagnancy, stuckness. As the light spirals, it restores flexibility, movement, and all the way down through your ankles, strengthening them with trust. Because all the way down in this continuing thread, you bring the knowingness and the insight from the divine through the right brain and the third eye, all the way down to the footsteps that you take through life. And that golden figure eight loop now spirals through your feet, coating your feet with a shimmering light covering of gold. So hold those spirals. Just make sure that everything's flowing throughout your body, that the flow is continuous and easy all the way down. And now start at your root chakra, and I want you to trace a huge figure eight spiral, starting at your root to the right, up all the way to your soul star above your head, and loop it around, back down your left, back down to the center, then around to the earth star below your feet. So you are encompassing your entire diamond, and then back up to your root. So it's upright to your soul star, through your soul star, back down to the root, down to the earth star below your feet, and back up again to the root, to the base of your spine, the central anchor point of your diamond. And just flow that energy as it loops through your soul star. It gathers up the information and insights. It gathers up the music of the song of your soul, bringing it into your body. where you may have felt disconnected from it. It now brings it down to you, carried on this loop, and it's like a million notes of the song of your soul, rippling along the curves of this infinity loop, being brought down into your physical being. And as they enter your root chakra, they begin to cascade up your spine into the free passageway that is being created into your heart, reminding you that you are a song of love from the Creator. You are the song. You are the love. And the more you continue with this loop, the more the feed of your soul song is strengthened, all the way down to the Earth Star carried upon these golden strands, singing your song into the earth where you stand and are located right now. That light code, the song of the soul, twirls and emits its patterns as golden threads as it's carried along these infinity loops and fibers. It broadcasts its resonance into your body, into your diamond and your energy field, into the earth. And then you become aware that in your diamond there are more fibers forming, golden fibers, stretching through from the center of your being, creating smaller diamonds within this amazing structure. And the song of the soul light code, as it's transmitted through these infinity loops, begins to tune these fibers, almost like plucking at the fragile strings of a harp, literally tuning your diamond with a harmony and a song that is yours. Just rest a while in this active space while your diamond is tuned, and allow yourself to sense with your inner ears the music of your song. And now finally, create a final infinity loop starting in your soul star, looping down and extending into the right side of your brain, connecting with the horizontal loops already formed, looping back up to your soul star. So you connect your soul star with the top of your head with the loops already in play. And then down below your feet, you initiate the final movement from your right foot down to the Earth Star and back up. Just be aware of this bottom loop and where it actually wants to start, because you may find that you want to start it on the left. Play with it. And every single one of these loops is not static, it is mobile and it is flowing with energy and with love and with music. Fine tuning your being for new creative capabilities. Be aware of your heart expanding. And now bring from your soul star down through these intermingling loops that song of the soul light code, the reminder, the activator of your own unique signature. Bring it down into your heart and let its gentle gold glow infuse your physical heart and your spiritual heart, your entire chest, your lungs. And notice how, as you expand this area, the movements within your field, your diamond, and all of these loops accelerate, quicken, and hold it in that space as you take a deep breath in now. Breathe out, deep breath in, and just hold this build-up of energy within your being. Let it carry you through with ease, grace, and divine inspiration through the changes that we may or may not experience. However, we know that we can deal creatively with anything that presents itself. For we are the song of the divine sung into being through our physical form. Deep breath. Once more, and breathe out with a sigh as you open your eyes and return. And what you may feel like doing once you come out of that is just giving your whole body a good shake. Um, that's it's actually what I'm sitting here doing now as I'm talking to you. It's quite simple, but very powerful. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, shake your body out. It feels as if there's a lot that's been loosened, um, that is moving and circulating. It's cleared the mind of all of that heady input and info. Oh, Patricia, I love that. She says this was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. I have written the number 8 inside my wrists. Yes, and you could do 369 too. But remember, yeah, the 8 is the 369. Thank you so much. Definitely moved me. Thank you. Feel wonderful. Yes, good. That's the intention, is to always remember that that is what you are and that is who you are. And although very simple, very powerful. Thank you. Luke, what a beautiful experience. I'm thrilled to be here. Well, that's wonderful, Luke. Thank you for being here. Amazing as always. Thank you. Moving my arms and legs in figure eights. Yes, yeah, that's exactly it. I just really felt like I needed to shake everything, so my whole body, I'm sitting here going, shaking everything. But to move your arms, that's exactly it. Move your arms in figure eights. I mean, that's part of mindfulness practice. But if we can do it with deeper understanding of the consciousness that we're generating and connecting to, it adds a whole new layer of meaning to what we're doing. So, how beautiful is that? Yeah. Bun says I work in figure eights a lot, thinking and when with clients. Yes, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, and we can do that with a deeper understanding. It's very, very powerful. So, yeah, as always, I will extract that process, which is not a hugely lengthy one, and I will have it up for you to download so that you can download the process itself and reconnect at any time. Use it when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling like you need a little bit of a lift, when you're kind of going, I don't know what I'm here for, or I don't know what my purpose is, or this is all just a mess. And I'm talking to myself here as well, by the way, because I'm not immune to going through some of the challenges that we've been going through. The diamond journey is the ultimate journey from darkness to light, truly. So every time there are lessons in going through these cycles and stages, I get smacked with them big time. Um, so Elise says, wonderful, brought back into light a dark, dense area in my left brain where I'd had a nasty headache a week ago. Well, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. All is always in perfect order. So thank you all so much again for your wonderful support and for being here, and for your loving contributions to the diamond community. Because now, having tuned your diamond, that song that is you is broadcasting out and will begin attracting others into others of like vibration into your sphere, into your grid. And your gridded area. So may your beauty and your love be amplified, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you with the next one. I think the next gathering is probably going to be in March, the equinox. That's more likely. However, for those of you who are Golden Diamond members, we have our Q&A next Saturday. So I really hope you'll be able to join us for a live Q&A next Saturday. I at least managed to get the date out with plenty of notice this month. So I hope you'll join us for that. We can chat about, and we get to meet face to face and see each other face to face. So once more, much, much love. Look forward to connecting with you all in future. Thank you to all of you who are new that trusted your intuition and joined us today. And love, love, love. Yeah, love, love, love to you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening further. Many blessings.